What is going on, guys? Samuel Winworld from Samuel Winworld Potential here, back with another video for you all today. And for today's video, I'm going to rank all 5 seasons of Stranger Things. And the show officially ended a couple days ago as I'm filming this, and it's crazy to think the show was basically Netflix's big bluff show back in 2016, and now it's like this big juggernaut, honestly, for better or for worse. But we'll definitely talk about that. But yeah, I definitely was a little late to the I think I saw like a year after season 1 aired, but I'm glad I decided to get into the show because, yeah, it's phenomenal for a reason too. While it definitely does has ups and downs, honestly, which, again, I did rewatch the entire show before season 5. My opinion definitely changed on some seasons in some aspects. There was definitely still a lot to appreciate about this show, honestly. Even for the fact, they probably shouldn't got past season 1, but it does have a lot of great elements to it, and I would say I put it on my all-time favorite shows, honestly. I would definitely put it on. I think I did put, I don't know why I put it on my, I think I did put it on my top 50 best TV shows list. I don't think I know where I put it, but it was somewhere on that list. So I knew when that season aired, I was going to do some Stranger Things related videos, and the first one going to be, and the first one I'll be doing, like I said, is ranking all 5 seasons. And the other videos I'm planning to do, I'm going to do a lot of shorts where basically I'm going to rank every episode from every season, and maybe talk about my favorite relationships on the show as well. Again, maybe some other random content I can think of, honestly. We'll see. And the next couple videos I'm going to talk, and the next two I'm going to be, and to this video, the next one will be talking about my favorite characters from Stranger Things. I've always wanted to do a video talking about my favorite characters from Stranger Things. And then the last one, and then the last one's going to be talking about my favorite episodes of Stranger Things. The 10 episodes that stood out to me the most. Again, I was going to maybe do an overall episode, full episode ranking like I'm doing how much you meant, all that stuff, but including the time and everything, I feel like it just makes sense to just do that again, honestly. So, but let me know if you guys want me to do more stuff like that down below. And let me know if you guys want to see like more of the general episode character videos like that down below. But yeah, I'm gonna go through all 5 seasons and things and rank them from worst to best. And also, like, now, I don't think there's like a bad season in this show, honestly. Well, while there are definitely some bad episodes, there definitely are bad seasons, honestly. I think I'm just going, and I think that worst season, honestly, is good. It's just more on consistency, rewatchability, and moments and character aspects. Every one season above the other. And while I actually knew what my number one was going to be, actually, after watching the show, my numbers 2 and 5 were definitely a bit up and down, honestly. It's one of the things where it's like very interchangeable, honestly, where I spent a little bit actually thinking, which ones have connected me the most, and which ones I can see myself come back to the most. Again, it definitely is up, yeah, no, and I'm still not 100% honestly, but I did decide to go through like this, honestly. So, as always, it's my personal opinion. I would love to know your ranking down below in the comment. Let me know how would you rank all 5 seasons of Stranger Things. And again, I do plan on doing shorts where I rank every episode, every season, and then I'll do one talk about my least favorite episodes, and then my favorite relationships, and what content I think of. And again, and then plan to do separate videos on my favorite characters and my overall favorite episodes. So I hope you'll enjoy it. And all that being said, I think I've read not long enough. Let's just get into the ranking. And now, coming in number 4, we have the next season, season 3. A season that I think I remember season actually be my favorite actually for the longest time actually. So obviously it was not number 4 honestly, but I still do enjoy this season. Like, it's definitely a different tone in terms of the previous 2 seasons, which is a little more darker, but also a little have balance between like dark and nostalgia and hilarious and all that stuff. This one just allows it goofy and fun, honestly. But I like how much they actually embrace that, honestly. Again, my big negative, honestly, is the fact that there's really no mystery in this season. There really is like a big mystery to solve, honestly. Like, they really tell you what's going on in like the first 5-10 minutes. And it's really just characters just, figuring all that stuff out with the Russians and everything. Like, it's weird that they're Russians, honestly, but I thought they were a lot better than I expected, honestly. Like, I do understand why people don't like that storyline, but I actually didn't mind, honestly. Like, it's definitely weird for sure, and this one Stranger Things started to get like, more like insane with their storytelling, honestly, with a lot of companies are more simple. This one's just wow, insane, batshit insane. But better for us. But I did like the goofy tone on this season, honestly. I did. But overall, I did enjoy the goofy tone on this season. I saw a lot of the characters here. Again, some don't get a lot to like Mike's relationship with Eleven really get much to do in this season. Again, not issue I will also say with season 2 and this season, and even some later seasons, that some characters aren't really getting a lot to do when it comes to like the overall storyline, honestly, and like some of them like just there, honestly, and, like that's really kind of the fact that they don't want to kill a lot of characters to prevent people getting upset, and they're yelling at them about it. But it's like that that creates stakes. Like how one of Death Brothers does with later seasons that they actually fix that issue. Because yeah, you realize that killing could actually prevent emotional stakes, and while they be upset, that's kind of what you want, honestly. But that's a story for another day. But again, some characters don't really get what to do in this season. Like this, what the first season, I think Nancy and Jonathan started becoming a little irrelevant to the end of the season, honestly. And also, I think Jonathan starts to go a little bit as a character, honestly. Which is again pretty funny because I used to love Jonathan. I still like Jonathan, honestly. That's just his later appearances is not as great as his later. It's just his later appearances are not as great or consistent. That's what I'm trying to say. But again, there's still a lot of fun to be had in this season. I do like some of the things they're trying to attempt here, like while they're trying to do Will and everything, but while it's not as focused on as you want it to be. I did like that scene in the rain where Will gets upset, but not feel like he's able to grow up much on the same rate as his friends, honestly, because honestly, there's a reason why on that, but that's still a really touching scene, honestly. We get some great action set pieces throughout. We do get some great action set pieces throughout this season. We also get continued relationship between like Steve and Robin, which I loved on. I'm Steve and Dustin. So, we continue relationship between Steve and Dustin, which again is part of my relationship with the entire show, and also Anne and Robin, who is also one of my favorite characters for things. Even if I don't think they do the best job with her season 4 and 5, I still love Robin as a character. Mostly because I think she's like so autistic coded. But that's a story for another day. But my heart delivers her character with such effortless charisma that I can't help but love whenever she's on screen. And it looks as Erica that was an addition as well. That's why we get some very humorous moments, some great action set pieces, a great final battle, and of course that Billy death scene still is a very emotional scene. I don't think I mentioned Billy, but if I does mind, Billy's also a very interesting character as well. And his final scene was really impactful, honestly. I also wasn't the biggest fan of what they did with Hopper this season, mostly because they kind of revert his way back to how it was in the first season, honestly. And they act like more emotional and just more like can't talk to people properly and all that stuff. Like, I mean, Hopper still has a good moment, honestly, but he does act a little more angry. I feel like he should be, honestly. And of course, it's that Terminator character that's basically just the Terminator, just 200% basically the Terminator. That's like, yeah. But overall, Stranger Things 3 is still a really fun season. Again, the mystery is often not scary because there really is no mystery to solve. Again, there'll still some those pacing issues I mentioned. I also did love the relationship between like oh, I also did love the relationship between like Max and Eleven this season. I really loved their dynamic this season. Honestly, and Max really has some great stand-up moments as well. And Max is also just a great character in general. And just a lot of moments that just put a big grin on my face. So again, it does have pacing issues and it doesn't have mystery at all, honestly. I don't like how they kind of rest a couple of the characters, don't have what to do with some kids anymore. But Friday is like more fun, at least a little more consistent, and what puts it above season 2, in my opinion. Now at number 5, and like I said, it was definitely a debate, honestly, a little bit of what was going to be the worst one for me. Like I said, my 2 and 5 were definitely interchangeable, honestly. And there's definitely a debate on which one's going to be like which spot, honestly. But in the end, after thinking about it, I decided that my least favorite season of Stranger Things is season 2. I still like season 2, honestly. I feel like I enjoyed season more than most people. I feel like I enjoyed season 2 a lot more than most, honestly. But I can add that it does have some issues. Mostly, I think the pacing's a bit all over the place. Like, it does go a bit of snail's pace at times. I do think some seasons are... It takes like a while to actually get to the actual main story plotline of the season, honestly. Well, I feel like season 1 was more perfectly paced, honestly. Got into it right away. This season felt like it takes forever to get to the point, honestly, and sometimes those points can't really drag, honestly. We still have good character moments, and Max, I think, was also a nice addition to the cast as well. I've always liked Max from the beginning, and she's definitely good here. And Sadie Singh really brings some natural charisma to her as a character. Obviously she doesn't have more stand-up moments till later on in the show, but her introduction season was also pretty well done as well. So again, the pacing can drag, and also there's that Lost Sister episode, which, yeah, looking back on the episode, like, yeah, I can see why people think it's the worst episode of the entire show, because Yeah, that was not really fun to watch, especially most of how mostly because I think most because how the episode was pretty like episode 7 and it kind of like derailed the flow of the entire show, honestly. And it doesn't really have like true standout moments like the previous seasons, honestly, which I think is why it last place. But it still has some great elements to it, honestly. Like this is where Steve really starts his redemption arc, and this started his relationship with Dustin, which is probably like the big highlight relationship of the entire show. Like the relationship between like Steve and Dustin's always been one of my favorite relationships. Probably my favorite relationship in the show, honestly. Every time they're on screen together, they have such natural chemistry with each other. And they delivered that here, honestly. They really delivered that. The relationship between Evelyn and Harper, I thought was actually really well done as well. Like, continuing on Harper's character arc from the previous season. And I think they handled that relationship pretty well, actually. The chemistry with the kids are still really well done. At least Will has a little more to do this season. Honestly, I do get some nice action set pieces, honestly. And you get some very touching moments, especially towards the end, honestly, with Brucey, with the dance scene and also, I think some characters don't really get a lot to do. Like, I don't think Mike gets a lot to do this season, and even Will doesn't get, well, there's a lot more to do this season, not a lot, honestly, because it feels like he doesn't really interact with people much, honestly, because he's like the vessel here. Like, and you can tell they're trying to figure out what to do from these characters, honestly, which has kind of always been a thing in Stranger Things, honestly, because also they have a tendency to not, kill characters. But we'll talk about more into later seasons. I was gonna mention Bob was also fantastic here. Like Joyce Lempertrich, he was fantastic, lovable, and had probably one of the most emotional moments of the entire show when he sacrifices himself. Like, yeesh. Yeah, but overall, I still think but overall, I do think season 2 it's still a good season. Like, this is still a good season of Stranger Things. I just don't think it really hits the heights of the previous season, and the pacing can really drag at some points. And the mystery isn't really as engaging as season 1, honestly, and those aspects in the last episodes not that great, so those aspects alone put it to where it is last place, to where I would still watch this season if I got the opportunity, but it's just not the most consistent season, that's why it is at last place. And now at number 3, also my number 3 and number 2, I definitely actually debated, honestly, I really went back and forth, honestly. Because I feel like the seasons I feel more the same about, honestly. I feel like they have some great highs, but have some lows, honestly. And it does have overall like the big issue that has plagued Stranger Things, honestly. But for me, I'm not sure how much hotter it's gonna be. But number 3, I have season 4. Yeah, I have season 4 and number 3. But like I said, this and number 2 are actually kind of interchangeable, honestly. I feel like they have like I don't probably want to get like both seasons the same rating, honestly. So it could be like an interchangeable, honestly. It's just ones I feel like are more consistent or ones I have enjoyed the most. And I still love season 4. I still think season 4 is a great season, honestly. And it does, like I said, it does some high highs, but some low lows, honestly. I think the biggest low is the fact there's not really a lot of stakes here. And the fact they have too many goddamn characters. Because developers are like so scared or terrified to actually, kill off their characters. So that's pretty unfortunate, and that's pretty just, yeah. Like, I really wish they would have that up, honestly. I wish that Hope actually killed her. Like, there's some moments, honestly, where it's like, man, that would be a perfect opportunity to actually kill off that character. If you know what, you guys know what I'm talking about. But we do get great character moments here, what these characters go through and everything. And, well, some characters have more LeBron than others, obviously. Obviously. And again, Dustin's still great, and Steve, Robin are still great, even though they do a weird version of Robin's character, but I still like her in general. In the Russian stuff, I really enjoyed actually. Honestly, I love what they did Max this season, having a so much great people having Billy, and there's a reason why that Dear Billy episode is probably going to be the best episode of the entire show and the season in general. Because and of course, I want people to absolute doors that are running up the hill scene. That's an incredible sequence. Vecna, I think, is actually a pretty interesting villain, honestly. Again, unfortunately, I do think Vecna is kind of a wimp, honestly, because he can kill everyone just very instantly. But when it comes to main characters, he just doesn't. That's always been like a big issue. I always have found that to be like an all-time main villain, honestly. Like, he has the to be like an incredible threat villain, and he has some badass moments. But the fact that he doesn't just instantly kill the main characters, and yet instantly kills everyone else, yeah. Yeah, but he still has enough great moments too. I actually think he's a good villain, but he could have been a fantastic one. That's just me, at least. I do think the season's actually more better paced, honestly. I, I mean, with like longer run time, in fact, I'm not even sure what do a lot of characters. At least a lot better paced, honestly. We still get a lot of great character moments that we spend on. So like Will had some good moments. 11 also, and Hopper being the badass that he is, he gets some badass action throughout the season. Ellie was also Ellie was also a great addition. Though it's finding the issue with the character just to kill him off in the finale early on. So it's like really, but I loved it. I'm one who actually loved Eddie honestly. I thought his like finale was but pretty epic honestly. But he was just a very likable character. You can't help but not love Eddie at least, and especially with Dustin throughout the season. Even his in reality, his plan was really stupid. And there were a couple of finale I didn't really like honestly. It's just like I said, but Vecna being Vecna and just weird things coming out of nowhere. Like really, if you know finale, you know what I'm talking about. But we do get some really touching moments against the host the Hopper Evelyn renewing scene has always been one of my favorites. Again, and actually that Billy scene basically just Max like deals with her grief. That's pretty tragic, and her of course reading that note on her grave, his grave, and just still dealing with the grief and all that stuff. And of course, the waiting for the hill scene is just an incredible sequence. Probably still being the best moment of the entire show. And like I said, I definitely debate between this, my Falls, and my number two, honestly. Like, there really isn't anything that really changed between them, honestly. But overall, I still think season 4 is still a great season, honestly. It's just those last I mentioned, like, it's better paced, but I do think there's some moments that do kind of drag. And back to not being as great as a villain, I feel like he could have been. And of course, just having like way too many characters at this point. And just overall, because if you kill him off, we don't really have much stakes. I feel like that's the moments that would have been perfect to kill these characters off. But unfortunately, we did not get that. Now we get to number one, and that, my friends, is season one. Yeah, I'm of course one people to do think season one is still the best season of Stranger Things. And it's actually a little more up in the air than I think people expect, honestly. Like, I feel like season one's probably like should be the obvious one, honestly. But I know I see a lot of people season four, honestly, and even season three is the best season of the show. But for me, like even after the season, I think season three and one's always been my personal favorite, honestly. And after rewatching the entire season, I do think it is a perfect season of television. Like I think this is honestly one of the best TV seasons of all time. I am dead serious. Again, this is a true perfect season. Like, there's a reason why Stranger Things ended up becoming the phenomenon it is after this season. There's a reason why actually this season basically ended up being like the big juggernaut and phenomenon that ended up being. A movie that basically uses a lot of age references, but doesn't use it as like a crutch honestly, and uses that to craft like great characters and a really compelling mystery. They do a great job making you care about all these characters. Again, Mike, Lucas, Will, even Will's not the have a lot of character here, but Mike, Lucas, Dustin, and Will, Nancy, Steve, Jonathan, Joyce, Hopper, all fantastic characters in this season. All have, and Liv is also a great one as well, but all have great character moments, all incredibly balanced with each other. And it's probably the only season that's pretty honestly, I think the pacing is just perfect. I don't think there's a moment that drags. I don't think there's a moment that I feel like needs to be cut, honestly. It's just a perfect mystery that keeps you engaged, a perfect moment of characters that has a lot of great emotion to it, has a lot of great character interactions, and just has a lot of great magic to it as well. Again, this is one of the shows that is most simple, has most like unique and like I said, it's just simple honestly. I think that's what honestly ends up putting number one honestly. Because it is a perfect season of television. I don't really have like a single issue with this season honestly. I have like a moment that drags. I think all the characters are really well done here. As well, and I'll also go through really compelling arcs for that season. It's definitely interesting to see how they went this season. Where Nancy was just like a more timid girl to the bad that she ends up being in later seasons. Seasons and what these characters end up being in later shows. It's kind of interesting looking back at what they are originally. And like, yeah, there's a reason why these characters were great, honestly. There's a reason why these characters were really well done and were really likable and were really interesting. And Hopper going through an incredible character arc, especially more of his emotions and still dealing with his daughter. Joyce truly trying to find his son and the tragedy that she and Jonathan end up dealing with throughout that season. Season the butting heads, I hope being the best friends, 11's inclusion into every day, honestly. And the Upside Down was more of a simple day and not just how it I remember when Upside Down was just more like a simple, unexplained thing instead of just being just like this big, like a thing that would end up being created. But created again, it has some great humorous moments, fantastic character moments against. It's interesting to look back at Steve in the season 2 he ends up becoming a jerk, but now he's like the big hero of the show now. And that's interesting, like honestly, when you actually think about it. And the acting in general is great as well. Again, the references are the A's references are everywhere here, but they don't use it as a crux of the story. They manage to tell their own engaging narrative, and you get some pretty amazing moments as well. Like there's as well again with the butting heads between all the characters, the action that went there, and then just a simple, short, fun character moments, and and it goes through really compelling arcs throughout the show. So yeah, I don't think I need to explain it more. Like season 1 of Stranger Things is still the best season of Stranger Things by a country mile, honestly. Honestly, and it's probably one of my favorite seasons of television of all time. Now, I'm not sure how much hotter it's gonna be that I have season 5 and number 2, honestly, but I have season 5 and number 2, the final season. And again, I probably enjoyed the season more than most people because I feel like a lot of people had this season as probably the weakest of the show. And what I do totally understand, honestly. Like, I do totally get it. Like, I feel like this season has a lot of the same issues I have season 4, honestly. And the fact that, one, the season basically has, like, no stakes, honestly. They can't, like, kill off any of the characters. So, how that? The stakes don't really feel real and the stakes don't feel earned, honestly. And again, plenty of moments where that would have been, like, the perfect end to these characters. That would have been, like truly emotional, incredible moments. But no, they're just still alive. And again, it also makes Vecna just not that interesting of a villain, honestly, unfortunately, but I really want to love Vecna. That really just was prevented, honestly, because I feel like he killed everybody else and everything in just like an instant. But when it comes to the actual main characters or the actual point characters of the show, he's just a wimp. But I do love a lot of this season, like honestly, when they implement Holly back into the show, honestly, was interesting. I feel like people get out Mike had another sister in the show that was just kind of, and it kind of disappeared on season 1, honestly. Yeah, in reality, they kind of brought her back, like she never disappeared, and then she ended up being the victim of Henry, or Vecna. He ended up being a victim of Vecna. I like how they implement that very well here, honestly. And then again, I also one issue I didn't enjoy the season is pretty much the huge amount of exposition we get in this season. I usually don't have a problem with exposition, but I feel like, they could have done it more like clever way, honestly. But, I also am a bored at least during those scenes, so didn't know why you honestly, but I do agree that, yeah, they could have hit a little bit on the exposition, honestly. But I will say they do have. Sorry that they have a lot of characters. They do get a lot of them more standout moments this season. Like this is probably the most Mike has been relevant since season 1. Honestly, not say he didn't have moments in last 3 seasons, but just like story relevance and how he inputs the main stories. Not much, honestly. But this is most my financial most the lead and most like the main character. So it's like season 1, honestly, and he has some of his best moments, honestly. And same with Willa as well. I think Willa has some really bad moments, especially with the fact that we this in the scene where obviously we get his powers. Like, I love that scene. And of course, there's also the scene where he feels to everyone that he's gay, honestly, which is this moment I never really got the hate for, honestly. I never got the hate for that scene, if I'm being honest. I think my only issue with that scene is more how it was implemented, but I'll talk about that in a sec. But I do love that scene, honestly. And at least a lot of characters do get more stand-up moments. Like maybe Jonathan at least has more stand-up moments here. They did honestly, like still not great unfortunately, but no, at least it's better than what the last few seasons, honestly. I also didn't like how they implemented Jonathan in season 4, honestly. I really didn't like how they made just a stoner character. And I also love the Will Robin dynamic this season. I really loved the relationship throughout the season. I love how they implemented Max here. I thought was pretty well done. It had some pretty emotional moments, and relationship with Holly was pretty interesting as well. I didn't like the new character in Derek, honestly, who I didn't think you actually like him at first, honestly, but he has such hilarious moments and just a very funny, hilarious character. You can't help but smile when he's on screen. and we do get some great action set pieces, and at least this season has like a lot of the characters actually, have more standout moments, have more great standout sequences. Like Karen, Mike's mom this season has some badass moments. Like, oh my god. We get some more great moments between Ella and Hopper this season. That was kind of missing the last few couple seasons, but we do get more on the touchlines for this season. That's just so makes you feel so warm inside, honestly. I think the first four episodes were great on. So I think the 5, 6, and 7 were definitely a little weaker, and it gets and weaker, but we're still good. And again, I do think the finale is good. Honestly, not one of the best finales of all time, but still a good finale. I think my big issue with this season is really the same issue I have with season 4. Honestly, is the fact honestly there really is not a lot of stakes here. Honestly, like they don't like kill off a lot of these characters, and we get a lot of moments basically where they trying to make seasons feel urgent and just so like you need to do this now. This needs to occur now. And yet they can have like moments where they can just like talk and just have kind of conversations and just walk around and just sit down. Honestly, to see what's supposed to be urgent. And there's a lot of that moments around here, especially I think more so in episodes 5, 6, 7, and especially the finale. And then, I think it's my only issue where like the gay wolves coming out again, honestly, because they were supposed to make that feel urgent, but it's like, really? But they had plenty of time to do all that emotion. That's where my only issue in that scene, honestly. I never really got why that scene was so bad. Apparently, that it's not the lowest rated episode of the entire show. Like really? But that's a discussion for another day. That is a discussion for another day. And again, we do get some bad action set pieces, some really great character moments by the end of it. So, again, definitely a debate between season 3 and 4, honestly. And I feel like I'm the only person that's going to have like season 5 this high on the list. That's probably the best season after season 1. But the season really touched me, honestly. This really touched me. I really enjoyed so much of it. So, while I do acknowledge the issues, like I mentioned earlier, honestly, because again, like they just don't have a lot of stakes I feel like this season should have for a final season. Not much. I don't think it really feels like a true final season of the show, at least like before the finale. But as a whole, I still think this season is great, honestly. And I debate between this four, honestly, but there really isn't any reason why it's better, honestly. Honestly, I think season 5 and 4 are very interchangeable, honestly. But I think I just kept it with just tapping more, so that's why I put it at number 2. Well, guys, that is my season ranking on every season of Stranger Things. Stranger Things have happened. Yeah, that's my ranking on Stranger Things. Let me know down below in the comment section how you guys would rank every season of the show. Let me know your thoughts on how you rank all 5 seasons. I think it's definitely up in the air what actually has their favorite. So I would love to know which season is your favorite down below in the comment section. I hope you all enjoyed this ranking. I definitely know I have. And again, I do plan to do a lot of shorts on Stranger Things, and I plan to do 2 big videos. So I'm going to rank the top of my favorite characters and my favorite episodes. So stay tuned for those videos coming very soon. Let me know what other content you guys want to see me coming for in 2026. I would love to know down in the comment section. I am Cinema World from Cinema Productions. I will see you next time as always. Stay cool, everybody. Peace.